Regarding the surgical treatment, obviously the patient is not hemodynamically stable, and you had decided to perform the exploratory laparotomy. And in laparotomy, then you decide for the revascularization or the bowel resection. Okay, so first revascularize, and there are options. Either you go for embolectomy or you go for the bypass grafting, and then you go for a bowel resection. But you can either you can go for a damage control surgery and just resect the necrotic segment, do the bowel resection, and if you're confident, do the anastomosis, and then wait till the patient is stable. And then when the patient is stable, go for the CT angiography and decide if you have to go for the embolectomy immediately or not, depending upon the results. Okay, so surgical treatment start from resuscitating your patient. Go for the oxygen, intubation, fluid resuscitation, broad spectrum antibiotics, and heparin infusion is very, very much important. Just immediately you have to start your patient on heparin, and then you have to give heparin intraoperatively as well. And now, if you could see, this is the diagram intraoperatively. This is the viable part of the gut, but you can see there are different patches. You're not very much confident. You can see there are gangrenous portion, then there are healthy portion, then gangrenous, then healthy portion, and then obviously you can't resect that much part of the bowel, and obviously the mortality would be very high again. So in that case, you have to go for like testing, contrast testing, investigations which are helpful intraoperatively. The fluorescein dyes, the color would change. The color would be green if the gut is not viable. Okay, so the healthy gut would remain the same, but the dead and a gangrenous gut, that would change the color, and that would be green fluorescent. Or you can use the radioactive light beams as well to differentiate. So after deciding or taking the help of the investigations, you can go make a decision for a bowel resection, or you can make a decision for the revascularization. So surgical treatment can be embolectomy, mesenteric artery embolectomy. It can be thrombectomy, or it can be a bypass surgery. It can be if there is occlusion of the superior mesenteric vein, not the artery. Then in veins, usually venous thrombectomy is usually not recommended. You just try to treat your patient on medical therapy. Or you can go for some other invasive procedure like the bowel resections, and then you can go for proper definitive management of that particular patient. So remember, the options we have is embolectomy, thrombectomy, bypass, and bowel resection. So embolectomy, in embolectomy, you have to follow the open surgical procedure. Either you do in a lateral position or you do in an anterior position. And if you are you want to perform embolectomy with stenting, then it is recommended you follow the anterior approach. And for that, what you have to do is that you have to just mobilize the transverse mesocolon. It's important in anterior approach, you don't have to mobilize the ligament of Treitz. You just have to go follow the transverse mesocolon, and just you have to liver, you have to get rid of, or you have to push cephalic and caudally small intestines, and just go at the base of the pancreas, and behind the pancreas there is a superior mesenteric artery. So that how you have to, either you can mobilize the ligament of Treitz and transverse mesocolon, so just at the base of the transverse mesocolon, follow the middle colic artery. Okay, so middle colic artery will actually lead to the origin of the superior, that will lead to its origin, and then you can find out the superior mesenteric artery. And then you have to do the endarterectomy. Just give up. You can do a vertical endarterectomy, or you can do a longitudinal or vertical. So I prefer usually performing longitudinal endarterectomy. So give a longitudinal endarterectomy, then you insert a Fogarty balloon catheter, and by the help of a Fogarty balloon catheter, you have to insert the balloon proximally and distally, and then you have to inflate it, and then just you have to retract it back and then deflate it, and the clot will come along with the balloon. But don't try to push very hard, and don't try to inflate inflate the balloon much because it will rupture, and obviously the catheter would be of no use. So that's how you perform the embolectomy. The procedure for the embolectomy remains the same for all embolectomies, whether you are doing a femoral or you're doing superior mesenteric or you're doing an abdominal aorta. That's how you do the embolectomy. And just the key is to mobilize the transverse mesocolon and follow the proper approach. So this is another diagram which is actually showing you the part in which a proximal and a distal. So this was the part of the part which endarterectomy was done. So you insert the Fugacci balloon catheter. You can see this is the tail of the catheter, and this is the balloon which is being inflated. And then you have exposed this is the proximal part, and this is the distal part. And you just have to take a proximal and a distal control of the vessel, and then you have to insert the Fugacci balloon catheter, and you have to do the embolectomy. And after that, it's entirely upon you if you want to do the standing or not. And if you are sure after multiple times you do the proximal and distal embolectomy, and then you are sure that there is no more clot, then you have to see the backflow of the blood from both the sides, the proximal and the distal, and you have to infuse the heparin infusion as well, and then you have to check the backward flow. And if there's a backflow flow, you're good to go. And then you just have to close the arterectomy with usually non-absorbable proline 6O that is used for closure of the endarterectomy. And then after that, the occlusion is being removed, and revascularization is established, and then you go for the definitive management. If you need a bowel resection, resect that and do the primary anastomosis. Or if you think that there is not much of the possibility, and then you go for the bowel resection, or you go for the damage control study and you do the temporary abdominal closure, and then you do the second laparotomy. Okay, so in case of bypass, this is the procedure which is reserved in most of the cases for chronic mesenteric ischemias, because I told you acute is secondarily to the embolus, so you do the embolectomy. But in generalized thrombosis like atherosclerotic plaques, you have to do a bypass. It can be ileo mesenteric bypass, or it can be aortomesenteric bypass. So this is just a picture of the bypass. This abdominal aorta. This is the origin of the superior mesenteric artery. So you can do it on your reconstruct it as it is, or you have to take a graft, which is most of the time great saphenous vein graft is being used. So you can see this is a bifurcated graft, which is from the superior celiac aorta, and you can see the end-to-end celiac trunk anastomosis. See right here. And this is a graft to SMA, which is coursing slightly left to the aorta, behind the pancreas, and anterior to the left renal vein. So grafting is most of the time preserved for diffuse process, in which obviously large segment of the artery involved. Then you have to take a graft, and most of the time the vein which you're using for the graft is the great saphenous vein. So that's how you do the bypass. But remember, in acute you do the embolectomy, and in case of the chronic, in which there's a generalized thrombosis and large segment of the artery is involved, then you do the bypass grafting.